You see, I was raised thinking Easter was about bunnies. Anybody with me on that? Bunnies with chocolate ears, and fighting with my twin brother about who would get the bigger Easter bunny, the chocolate Easter bunny. And Easter egg hunts, and getting dressed up to go to church, in person, no less. And getting excited when I heard the peace song because I knew at that point that service was over. That's why the peace song always brought me joy. I do like the peace song though. But later in life, as a Catholic, I began to understand that Easter was about celebrating the resurrection of Jesus. But I didn't understand how that could apply to my life. I became involved with unity, and as I did, I got a much more powerful concept about what the Easter message holds for us today. And in a word, to me, it's transformation. It's a special kind of a transformation, a metamorphosis to our divine selves. You may remember back in the 8th grade learning about the word metamorphosis, maybe in 8th grade biology class, learning about the caterpillar turning into a butterfly, and in between there being a stage called the chrysalis stage. You remember that? Or the pupa. And none of these stages looked like each other. It was like 3 different lives. Eric Butterworth had something to say about this metamorphosis. In his book, Discover the Power Within You, he says, "Consider the lowly caterpillar. It is self-evident that the caterpillar and the butterfly live in entirely different worlds. But no one would ever say that a caterpillar is a butterfly, or that a butterfly is a caterpillar. And yet we know that the caterpillar and the butterfly are simply different levels of expression of the one entity. The caterpillar can fly, but not as a caterpillar, only as a butterfly. It has the potential, but something has to happen to it. You can do things that Jesus did, but not as the person that you are now, perhaps. Only when you are born anew into a higher state of consciousness can you do these things." So that's such a beautiful saying. And unity teaches that we are moving along this great arc of consciousness, this great continuous arc of transformation, if you will, towards the greatest possible expression of ourselves that we can achieve. That's butterfly consciousness. More about this metamorphosis or transformation is revealed in a gospel song that I know. And this was written by Valerie Joy Fitmont and Reverend Deborah Johnson from Inner Light in Aptos. And I'm just going to read a little excerpt from this song. "Resurrect me, Lord, this day, as I die to my old way. To be all that I must be, I surrender me, as I die to my old way." That is so beautiful. And when I heard this song, I got it. I don't have to die to see heaven. I just have to die to my old way to see heaven on earth. And just as the caterpillar must die to its old self and be born again, we must die to our old selves and our old ways to experience this state of grace, this Easter state, this metamorphosis on our way to transformation. And dying to our old selves means leaving behind lots of things, but primarily it's our old ways of thinking, ways that don't serve us anymore because we're done crawling in this caterpillar state, metaphorically, and we want to fly. We want to be the butterfly. That's where we're headed. So notice that the key to transforming in all this is not about efforting. It's about having the willingness to let go, and trust into, okay? Letting go of old habits that come in the form of simple thoughts and ideas that have been a lifelong habit that we get to erase and form new habits around. This month, both our men's group and our women's group are studying a book by Brené Brown called The Gifts of Imperfection. And they're doing this very work of transformation, of dying to their old way, letting old thought habits that are keeping them grounded instead of flying, letting those go. And so I want to reference, I did this about 6 months ago, I want to reference the table of contents of this book that really captures the essence of letting go. Here are the themes of the chapters. Letting go of what people think. Letting go of powerlessness. Letting go of scarcity. Letting go of fear of the dark. Letting go of vulnerability. Letting go of the need for certainty. Letting go of comparison. Letting go of exhaustion as a status symbol. Letting go of productivity as self-worth. Letting go of anxiety as a lifestyle. Letting go of self-doubt. Letting go of coulda, woulda, shoulda, those regrets. And letting go of needing to be in control. Did you identify with any of those? I certainly did. And I've been aware that over the last year of the pandemic, and particularly in the last couple of months, this work is coming up for me heavily right now. Unity would call it letting go of the bondage that I've placed myself in, perhaps my whole life. Now things are coming up to be revealed and to be healed. My own personal journey has been around caring too much about what other people think, as referenced in the Brené Brown book, and not enough about what I think, right? And some of that is coming up as I prepare for a big job interview tomorrow. I'm already anticipating, I'm getting anxious around the job interview, thinking, what are they going to think about me? Am I going to answer the questions in the right way? But I should instead think, what am I going to think about them? Is this a good relationship fit for me? Because I have value. So this is a mental shift for me. Another letting go for me has been shame. When I was young, I was so shy. I mean, you know that the word, you're scared of your own shadow. I was just so shy around other people, particularly in school. And I was socially awkward as a child. And I carry a piece of that shame with me today. I've been noticing, dreams coming up around that. So what is your letting go work to do? You're letting go towards transformation. When I forget, which I often do, I forget the way, I forget to think properly, or I become unaware of these thoughts that are just playing like tape recordings. But when I do, everything about unity helps me to remember when I've forgotten, to remember who I really am. So I'm getting to play an active role today in my own resurrection, remembering and reuniting with my divine self that always was. Coming home in a sense, right? It has that feeling of homecoming. So I'm going to conclude with talking about another song lyric, of course. And this song lyric teaches us about metamorphosis, this letting go process in a different way around forgiveness. And There's a song by Timothy McAfee Lewis called I Forgive Me. And so I'm going to read part of it. I'm tired of the guilt that brings me pain. Now's the time for me to let go of the shame. I forgive me. I forgive me. Everything that I've been holding on to, I let go. I surrender. I surrender. I'm ready for my change. So, forgiveness is another form of letting go. And Jesus taught a lot about forgiveness. I think about when he says, love your enemies, and how difficult that sounds. I'm thinking about the fact that how can we, he's talking about forgiveness, right? And how can we forgive others if we can't and won't and aren't willing to forgive ourselves? Unforgiveness is the bondage that holds us back from our own transformation. We're holding ourselves back. Unforgiveness, my first Unity teacher said, unforgiveness is like putting ourselves on trial in our own minds, where we are the judge, we are the jury, we are the defense attorney, we are the prosecutor, right? That feeling, that sounds so familiar, you know, that defensiveness and that, you know, you sitting in judgment of yourself. We need to let ourselves off the hook and know that we can liberate ourselves and throw away the key, really, of the jail that we sit in called unforgiveness, right? Paul in Romans talked, he said, be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Be transformed by the renewing of your mind. And that is what the Easter spirit is all about. That's the transformation. That's the key. And going forward 2 centuries to new thought, you'll hear it as change your thinking and change your life. It's that simple. It's that easy, and it's very inviting. So another thing to realize is that in this forgiveness of ourselves, there's nothing we need to do to go and get the forgiveness, because the debt, there is no debt and retribution that we have to pay. All is forgiven now. That is the message of Jesus. So let's free ourselves. Let's lift ourselves up into this dimension of butterfly consciousness. Let's create our own metamorphosis. Let's let it happen today and every day. So let's seal this message with a prayer. The kingdom of heaven is at hand. I just need to be willing to forgive myself to get there. Knowing that everything is forgiven right now and that there is no debt I need to pay, I just need to let go. So I have the key to renewing my mind, to renewing my thoughts, to renewing my world. So I say yes. I say yes to my own metamorphosis as I die to my old way. I say yes to butterfly consciousness. I say yes to my own transformation. I begin again. As I begin anew, I say this day and each day, I'm so grateful for this awareness. I'm so grateful for this transformation, this happiness, this divinity that is happening in me right now. And I call it blessed. And so it is.
guilt that brings me pain. Now's the time for me to let go of the shame, the past behind me. I see anew. I'm ready for my change. Oh, yes, I am. I'm ready for my change. I forgive me. I forgive me. Everything that I've been holding on to, I let go. I surrender. I surrender. Yeah. I'm ready for my change. I'm ready for my change. I forgive me. I forgive me. Everything that I've been holding on to, I let go. I surrender. Oh, I surrender. Yeah. I'm ready for my change. Oh, yes, I am. I'm ready for my change. I'm ready for my change. I'm ready for my change.
So let's relax into this moment of meditation. Closing your eyes if you're comfortable. And let's begin by being aware of our breathing. Our sacred breath, the life-giving breath, as we relax more and more into the present moment. And now let's turn our awareness to the presence of the people in this room, envisioning them in our mind's eye, sensing the all-loving, unconditional presence of this room, of this sanctuary where you are safe, where you are loved unconditionally, exactly as you are. And as we feel surrounded by this sanctuary and this oneness of community, let's listen to our inner voice as we go within to commune with the infinite, loving consciousness that we all share. In our mind's eye, we envision a beautiful sunflower, touched by the sun's grace, peacefully giving out its beauty and inviting us to admire its beauty and grace. We now expand our awareness to the entire field of flowers. They're all part of the one, just like us. This field is the source of everything. This is the field of divine love, the field of divine healing, intelligence, beauty, joy, abundance. As we continue to breathe the life-giving breath, let's just fall into the arms of the one power and the one presence as we listen to the silence. And bringing our awareness back to our breath, let's visualize this field with the sun rising over it, the flowers getting brighter and brighter, our spines getting straighter as we look up and look forward to the new day of Easter, this day of transformation. And as we gently come back into the room, let's open our eyes into this loving sanctuary.